G'day, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of Manufacturing Matters, brought to you by the Australian Manufacturing Association. In this series, we'll be shining a spotlight on local Australian manufacturers, giving you insight into their business, the type of products they make, industries they service, and also give you some insight into some of the challenges they've faced over their manufacturing journey and what's helped contribute to their current success. Today with me, I have Mario Nastri from Class Plastics based in Melbourne, Victoria. Mario, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks, Steve. Nice to be here.
Excellent. So, Mario, Class Plastics, tell me all about it. What is it? Who do you service? What products do you make?
Class Plastics is a blow moulding manufacturer. We specialise in industrial rigid containers for liquid packaging. That's the short version.
Yeah.
In essence, we manufacture 24 hours a day, 5-6 days a week in Melbourne and Brisbane. We make plastic containers ranging from 2 litres up to about 30 litres. That's what we manufacture. We obviously on-sell products from 1 litre up to 1,000 litres. The business was born by 2 Italian gentlemen who started in East Keeler in the late 80s. And the journey started for myself in 1999.
Okay.
As a company, we've grown to 2 manufacturing sites, again, Melbourne and Brisbane, and we have distribution in South Australia and New South Wales. And we've become a pretty large, a medium-sized company in this industry.
Yeah, awesome. So started a while back, and then 99, you guys took over. What was the setup like back then, comparative to what it is today? Was it one smaller factory back when it was first started?
Back in 1999, when I joined, the business worked out of one shed in East Keilor, which was very small, and they were running quite a big business out of a very small building, a really old red brick shed.
Yeah.
And I think within about 5 years, we owned about 6 properties in the street. So we had to get licenses for our forklifts, registrations. We used to load B doubles at 10 o'clock on a Friday night on the gutter, which was probably illegal back then, but we did what we did. And when we got to 2008, we decided to make the move to a larger premises. There's a whole story behind that, which we'll talk about soon.
No, that's cool. Okay. So just going back to the products that you manufacture, I know in our previous conversations that there's a range of different grades of products as well. So from dangerous goods through to, I guess, standard type products, food grade products and so forth. Is that right?
Absolutely. Look, I guess the basic products we make are water cans, and we make non-dangerous goods. And I guess that's the market that's quite competitive. So back in the late 90s, we had a general manager by the name of Anthony Jordan, or Tony, and Tony could see that where the business needed to concentrate was to get its dangerous goods licensing in a few products, and that would not set us apart, but probably knock out 50% of our competitors. Yep. So we'd be dealing in a higher quality product range.
Yep. And
probably that's been the basis for this company to succeed, is to look at the standards and aim for the top end of the standards in our product range, which makes, in essence, Class Plastics is well known for its dangerous goods approved containers, quality, service, reliability, communication. It's big in for us. I find a lot of our competitors aren't great communicators. They might be great manufacturers, but they're not really good communicators with their customers. Yeah, so I think that's part of our business that's very important.
Yeah, customer service is so important, isn't it? Speed of delivery.
Customer engagement's everything. Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay, fantastic.
Absolutely.
So take us through, before I move on, what about industries that you service? Who's the ideal clients? And
the ideal client, someone who orders $500,000 a year and pays their bill at 30 days. No, we deal in pharmaceutical, industrials, chemicals, cleaning products, fuel cans, water cans.
Yep. So
we service a large chunk of the 4x4 outdoor market with our fuel can range through Supercheap, Mitre 10, BCF. We're probably in a lot of those sectors bar Bunnings. We don't deal with Bunnings.
Okay.
There's many reasons behind that. Look, there's food sector. You wouldn't think dangerous goods containers are used in food, but they are, because food starts from a concentrate, especially flavours and fragrances. In most cases, those fragrances and flavours are highly volatile acids
Yeah.
and chemicals when they're concentrate.
Yeah.
So they've got to be transported in a certain way. Then they get even pesticides and fertilisers.
Yeah.
Then they get washed down. They get diluted by 10,000 litres once they're at the end where they get used.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting.
So,
So
yeah,
variety of
vast
industry.
industries, vast. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All right. So take us through your journey from '99. What does that look like?
Um, Commenced in 1999. I'll say as a leading hand on the factory floor, but it was through an acquaintance of a close family friend
Yeah.
that I met the original owner of the company, and that gentleman Armando was looking for some youth and potentially a partner in his business. So he was looking at his forward planning
Yep.
or exit strategy, let's call it, maybe down the track. And I saw the opportunity. I thought it was worth having a look at.
Yep.
So I locked myself in for a 3-month job, working on the factory floor as a technician or learning to be a technician with no experience in the industry.
Yep.
But as a child, I had some experience in a shoe factory, which had
Okay.
injection molders,
Oh,
which my
interesting.
father used to run. So I didn't really realise, but I had some experience already running, making desert boots on a
Okay.
Saturday morning with injection molders, putting a sole on a shoe,
Yep.
which was my Saturday morning job at 13 years old. After that 3-month trial, I committed to purchasing shares in the company,
Okay.
which is what I was requested to do, and I had to basically lock in. And 9 years later, in 2008, both Daniel, my business partner, and I, who Daniel was an employee of the company at the time, we bought the company.
Okay.
And the first thing on the agenda was to commit to 2 new machines and start planning building a new site,
Yep.
which is something I'd visioned back in 2007.
Yep.
We had to move. We were struggling with space. So we found land. We found 12,000 square metres out in Truganina, and there was nothing out here. And you come out here today, and it's just wall-to-wall factories.
Yeah.
And in that time, we've grown from, I remember in 1999, we're probably turning over $2.2 million as a business, but out of a small shed.
Yep.
And servicing Sydney. And now we service four states comfortably and turn over $20 million plus.
Yeah. Wow. So I guess the first question that comes from that is what did you learn in that first 3 months? Because they always say that to be a great manager, you want to be able to show empathy and experience what it's like for your employees themselves. So what did you learn in that first 3 months of sort of working on the floor?
The reality is my background is I've seen my father run a business or two,
Yeah.
but I've never seen him turn up in a suit to his work.
Yeah.
So he was always an operations manager, even though he owned a business. And I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, because that's
Yeah.
the only thing I know.
Yeah.
I know how to operate a business as a floor manager.
Yeah.
I'm not very comfortable with running a business from an office.
Yeah.
So that first 3 months, I befriended guys that worked there. I became very close with people that worked on that factory floor, and within 3 months, I knew what was great, what was bad, what made them tick, what put a smile on their face, and what made their jobs hard. And I think it was a really good stepping stone to understanding the people in the business.
Yeah.
After that, I was lucky enough that our general manager, Tony, maybe saw the potential in me and wanted to send me overseas straight away to look at new machinery, look at product ranges, and learn a bit more about our industry
Yeah.
and see what our competitors do and the level of innovation and investment they were
Yeah.
involved in. So yeah, that was my stepping stone.
And did you find, because it's interesting that you mentioned looking at what the competitors do. So do you find that gave you really good insight into how things could be improved and how that could support your
Yeah,
growth from where you were to where you are today?
well, obviously we would buy products off competitors because we didn't have many of our own products,
Yeah.
and I guess the reality was you'd look at what you paid for a product, you'd look at the quality of the product, you'd look at what you'd listen to customers. So I'd go and see customers and listen to what they had to say, and try and understand where, as a business, we may have been lacking.
Yeah.
And one of them was product range, but I kept hearing our quality was excellent.
Yeah.
So I realised we had something going for us. We had exceptional quality, and we had great turnaround times on deliveries, but we didn't have many products.
Yeah.
So the challenge was how do we double our product range, triple our product range, and keep that level of quality and service.
Yeah.
And I guess that's been the challenge all the way through, to not lose any ground in
Yeah.
those two areas. And obviously, the I've got a physics and mathematical background as well. The numbers always mean something to me.
Yeah.
So I can understand when you're making money and when you're not making money. And time is money. In this industry, time is money.
Yeah.
Because
It's all
every minute you don't make a container, you've lost the container.
Yeah.
So I realised that making a product, you have to make it in the fastest time possible without losing any of that quality.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to do that, you need really good machinery, really good systems, really good people,
Yeah.
and you need your machines to run without breaking down.
Yeah. So the
And we had
data.
a part, yeah,
Yeah. Sorry. Go.
yeah. And our business partner Armando was all about quality and machines not stopping.
Yeah.
So that's the in essence that's what we're all about.
Yeah. Because I
If
mean,
we're
at
going
the
to
end of
work
the day,
24 hours a day, the
yeah.
machines have to run 24 hours a day.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, that's what your customers want, right? They want
Yes.
if the machines are running 24 hours a day, it means you've got the product to be able to have that reliability and that quicker turnaround time. But obviously, the focus on quality because nothing else matters. There's no point having a hole at the bottom of a
That's right.
container or a bottle. You want to make sure that's all nice and sewn up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. No,
One of
cool.
the
Okay.
biggest challenges for a business like us is we make large products.
Yeah.
So if machines are running efficiently 24 hours a day, your factory, your warehouse space fills up within 4 days.
Yeah.
So then there's the sales side of the business needs to sell 95% of what we make every day.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to turn machines off after 10 days.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I think that's the big sweet spot of our business. We've always been able to sell at a ratio of what we can make.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's being realistic with that, isn't it? It's being disciplined with it as well. And understanding where that sweet spot lies. And there's obviously
Yes.
always I guess an aspect of do we go get somewhere else to store more product, but that's not necessarily the right option.
No.
Adds additional costs, adds additional complexities, logistical challenges.
Yep.
So it's just being comfortable in knowing where your sales levels are at and your capacity to produce, and staying disciplined to that to make sure that you're meeting all the markers that your customers want.
Spot on. It's actually looking at your OEE
Yeah.
and actually saying I've got an efficiency and I need to target 75% plus, but I need my sales figure to match that 75% plus.
Yeah. Yeah.
And tweak both ways.
Yep. So obviously, going from when we're looking back to '99, and you're working out of the six sheds. then scaling up to the facility in Truganina, and obviously scaling up operations, scaling up revenue, all those different sorts of things. One of the big challenges that manufacturers typically come across is the ability to have capital expenditure available to invest in new technologies to be able to grow their business.
Yes.
So how did you guys plan for that?
Accept the fact that we're manufacturers
Yeah.
and have a simple life,
Yeah.
drive a mediocre car, live in the suburbs, and don't get ahead of yourself because you've got money in the bank.
Yeah.
And actually have that discipline of saying, well, we've got cash flow, we're doing really well, but we need 80 to 90% of this cash flow has to stay in the business because we're growing.
Yeah.
We're investing in a $5 million premises. We've got new machines coming in on average, we'd bring in 2 machines every 3 years, every 5 years.
Yeah.
There's always upgrades to plant and equipment.
Yeah.
So the reality is there's 70% of your profitability is always kicking straight back into the business.
Yeah.
To keep it up to date and up to speed.
Yeah. So obviously
and that's where a lot of businesses go wrong.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses go wrong. In their first 5 years, they start to make some cash. They start to make money. And the first thing they think is that they're going to reward themselves only.
Yeah.
And think the business will plateau, or they actually let the business plateau and just keep reaping the benefits out of the business.
Yeah, but I assume that understanding and that discipline comes from obviously a goal that you're trying to achieve, right? And that's a long-term view, but constantly taking a step back, I guess coming out from the weeds of the daily operations to actually have those conversations and forward plan for that.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Look, I guess for me, it's maybe it's my background, but I've seen businesses that don't survive or have a failure that they didn't see coming, whether it's the factory burns down or machinery goes up or they lose a contract that's 80% of their business. I've seen that in my youth through my father's eyes.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like I'm in a war. When I'm in this business, it's like I'm fighting a war and I've got to survive.
Yeah.
So I felt like the first 10 years of this business for me, was survival. And it's survival of the fittest. And it's only after you get to a certain point you actually say, well, now I can look at it from above.
Yeah.
I can get out of the trenches and be part of the next growth spurt of this business.
Yeah. So for those new manufacturers, that's obviously a really important point, is just accepting the fact that at least the first 5 to 10 years is going to be a real tough slog, and that's just the reality. There's no if, buts, or questions. There's no silver bullet that's going to change that for you. It's just understanding that that's just the reality, and that's what you're going to have to do. But with proper planning, proper discipline, and making sure you're always staying across the numbers as you are from a mathematician point of view, and interpreting those correctly, you're going to be able to get to where you want to go, but you've got to keep that future goal in mind.
Look, you've got to be motivated. But you've also got to reward yourself along the way. And everyone's different. And for me, a reward is just going out once a week for a bite or a dinner, whether it's with family or with staff, and just enjoying the little wins along the way, and maybe just acknowledging the little challenges and wins along the way. You know?
Yeah.
Advice to other manufacturers. I wrote, turn around now and run. Don't look back, which is a joke. But if you're in manufacturing, then you must give 100%, 110% to be successful. Okay?
Yeah.
There's no half-hearted approach to success. If you think that way, you'll never be successful. I don't even think we're successful, to be honest. I still think we've got a long way to go to be successful. Don't be scared to make mistakes, as long as the mistakes are calculated into the end result, right?
Yeah.
And planning is key to any action. Don't just make it a off the cuff decision. Have a little bit of thought process behind it. And the most important thing is enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride, even the bad stuff, even when it feels like a roller coaster that you didn't sign up for, enjoy the ride. Breathe when the going gets tough, and just think of the options you have before making a final decision.
Yeah, nice.
Just really enjoy the ride. Enjoy it.
Yeah,
So, like even every week you might have a bad week. It might have been a week that sucks. You might have dropped 20 grand on an electric motor or whatever it is. You might have staff not turn up to work. Just breathe. Look at the good things in your life and value the good stuff, the simple stuff.
Yeah. No, good. I think that's sound advice from somebody that's been in the game a long time and has been through all the challenges. And it's interesting. Like we've got a thing called the success dichotomy, which I think is what you're kind of referring to there, in that you want to celebrate your success and you want to be comfortable and be happy with where you got to. But at the same time, to be able to move forwards, you've got to be super critical on every aspect and plan to improve in all of those aspects to make sure that you keep moving forward.
Yep. Look, sometimes I'd say over the last 20 years, there's been times where it's head down and bum up all the time. So you've got 9 months of the year where you just work. And then when you do take a deep breath because you think you've achieved something, you actually, I find I like to sit back for a month or two and then watch the, I'll call it the worker bees, act without me getting involved and see if things take a turn, if we can keep a constant work process moving, whether it's in sales, whether it's in dispatch, admin, production, and then just put my 20 cents back in when it's needed.
Yeah.
And I think every 2 or 3 years I go through that growth spurt where I get back on the factory floor and help with the infrastructure build of the next step.
Yeah.
And then step away from it when I think the infrastructure's there to handle it.
So making sure that you work hard to implement the systems and processes that allow your team to then take over those and help them to be successful, which in turn makes you successful.
Yep. I've made mistakes along the way. I've walked away. I think I've walked away from the production floor for a 9-month period at one stage where we had an operations manager employed and we might have been winning in certain areas, but we failed in other areas.
Yeah.
And that was based on the strengths of that operations manager or weaknesses of that operations manager. So you just need to, and it's good, that's a learning curve for me.
Yeah.
So when I'm actually looking at employing someone to do a task, look at their strengths and weaknesses and make sure that let them win on their strengths and back them up where they're weak.
No, fantastic. I think that's sound advice from a leadership point of view as well. So, Mario, I don't want to take up too much more of your time this morning. I really appreciate you having me. But where can people get in contact or look at your information? It's online on your website.
Absolutely, we've got a website, classplastics.com.au. Might be a little bit clunky, but it's a manufacturer's website. It's actually quite good. There's a couple of good videos on there of some innovative products that we've made over the years. There's definitely some great information on there. Definitely for people in our industry, there's product MSDS's, product data specification sheets. There's industry-specific pages, and there's definitely a link where you can click onto and ask whatever questions you like, and someone will get back to you within 48 hours, probably.
Yeah, fantastic. Really good. So everybody out there listening, if you've got an interest in what Class Plastics do, please check them out, classplastics.com.au. I can say from personal experience that Mario and Daniel are fantastic human beings. So you'll have a great experience. You'll have a great time, not just from a customer service point of view, but getting along with them just great in doing business with them. So Mario, again, thank you very much for your time. Really, really appreciate it. Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Steve. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome.
Enjoyed it.
And everybody, please check out our website at www.australianmanufacturingassociation.com.au. Remember, we've got our manufacturing roundtable coming up shortly on the 29th of November. If you want more information, please reach out to us, contact us through our website, or email me at steve@australianmanufacturingassociation.com.au. Mario, thank you again. Look forward to catching up with you soon.